Hello, I'm Lara Kulcharsan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Early Tuesday, Israel renewed its strikes on Gaza. It was the deadliest attack since November 2023, killing more than 400 Palestinians and injuring at least 560 others. The Israeli army has issued fresh evacuation orders after ending a short and shaky ceasefire, which allowed some Gazans to return to their homes. The strikes, which ended nearly 2 months of ceasefire, continue amid ongoing indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas. Both sides are looking to secure a new truce that would include both the release of hostages and an end to the hostilities. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered his military to act forcefully against Hamas.
Palestinian families are fasting under the threat of constant airstrikes, with little or no access to food, water, or medicine. And what's Israel's excuse? They claim it's about the hostages. But let's be real. If Israel actually cared about the hostages, they would not have rejected previous ceasefire deals that would have brought them home. Instead, they're using the hostages as a shield to justify the slaughtering of civilians. At the same time, Israel is blocking aid, targeting hospitals, and now the UN is calling their attacks on healthcare facilities as genocidal acts. This isn't about security, this is about ethnic cleansing, about making life unlivable for Palestinians in Gaza. And the US, they're still writing blank checks for it. So if you hear politicians in our media talking about Israel's right to defend itself or about hostages, ask them why that defense looks like starving children, bombing refugee camps, and attacking worshippers in the middle of Ramadan.
The Statue of Liberty is one of the most iconic statues in the world. It was presented to the United States in 1884 by the French to mark the 108th anniversary of the American Declaration of Independence from the UK. But now, a French lawmaker says Washington should return the gift. Raphael Glucksmann says the symbol of freedom no longer espouses the values it was intended to convey. He has accused Americans of abandoning the ideals of liberty, democracy, and scientific freedom. As a member of the European Parliament, representing a small left-wing party in France, Glucksmann cannot claim to speak for his compatriots. But the offer does resonate with many Europeans feeling increasingly antagonized by Trump. Washington says the statue is not going anywhere.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back. So is President Trump going to send the Statue of Liberty back to France?
Absolutely not. And my advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country. Kelly.
Well, Mr. Glucksmann, obviously that's not going to happen. What are you going to do? You going to come here and take it? You going to come here and what are you going to do? How are you going to do that? Obviously this is just for him to gain some clicks and engagement.
As part of his plans to cut government spending, Trump has signed an executive order that will reduce the size of 7 federal agencies. Among those affected is the United States Agency for Global Media, the organization behind Voice of America. VOA employees have been placed on administrative leave with full pay and benefits until further notice. The HR department says this leave isn't for disciplinary reasons. Workers have also been instructed to hand in their badges, press passes, and any government property. They're also not allowed to enter the buildings or use any of its systems. But they must remain on call during regular business hours, just in case officials need to reach them.
I cannot tell you how important these services are for promoting freedom around the world, for promoting America's interests around the world. For Elon Musk and Donald Trump to shut this down suggests they're doing it to benefit Moscow and to benefit China. Elon benefits China, of course, via his electric vehicle sales. Trump, who the hell knows what his issue is with Russia. I want to read you a statement from the president of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. The cancellation of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty's grant agreement would be a massive gift to America's enemies. The Iranian Ayatollahs, Chinese communist leaders, and autocrats in Moscow and Minsk would celebrate the demise of RFE-RL after 75 years. Handing our adversaries a win would make them stronger and America weaker.
Ever since they joined the workforce, Gen Z workers have been reshaping office norms and challenging outdated standards. They prioritize flexibility and work-life balance, redefining what a career should look like. Now, Gen Z has corporate leaders on edge with new trends. Career catfishing and office ghosting are on the rise, leaving employers frustrated.
Hey Ethan, can you tell me more about this workplace trend called career catfishing?
It's kind of like catfishing and dating. It's when someone is disingenuous about their career intentions during the hiring process and then never shows up for day one of the job without telling the company. It's really, really common with younger people. We did a survey recently of UK full-time workers, and we found that 1 in 3 Gen Zs and 1 in 4 millennials have career catfished an employer. This compares to 11% of Gen X and 7% of boomers.
The study comes from a resume creation platform called CV Genius. They surveyed 1,000 UK residents in December, spanning multiple generations. And the findings suggest nearly 1 in 3 Gen Z respondents have career catfished an employer. So their number is less than 1,000. Many Gen Zs argue that's not enough data to make broad claims and call it a trend.
That is not a generalizable thing that is happening. I am confidently ready to say that is not a thing that is going on across the board. And I don't think that things like career progression, professional development, just general upward mobility in the world of work, those desires among Gen Z can be happening in tandem with young professionals who are literally ghosting their employers once they sign their offer. You just cannot convince me that those two things are happening at the same time. I'm sorry.
And it was actually employers who kicked off the ghosting trend in the first place. Job seekers endure a long process with multiple interviews, assessments, and tests, only to be left hanging by recruiters. And some of the positions they apply for might not even exist.
More companies are admitting to posting realistic-looking job openings that don't exist. Leaders want to trick current employees into thinking that the business is not only growing, but making an effort to hire more workers and alleviate their existing workloads. It's corporate catfishing.
Every day we're introduced to a new AI tool promising to make life easier, do something faster, better, and with less effort. So it's no surprise that search engines want AI to do the searching for us. Just this month, Google announced that it is expanding AI-powered search and even testing AI-only results. 1 in 4 Americans already use AI instead of traditional search engines. But a new study reveals a major problem. AI search tools are getting a lot of things wrong.
The Columbia Journalism Review, or CRJ, is a magazine for professional journalists. It tested 8 AI tools with a simple fact-checking task. CRJ fed the tools a short article and asked chatbots to identify the headline, original publisher, publication date, and URL. The chatbots got more than 60% of the answers wrong. Tools reportedly speculated, offered incorrect answers, invented links or sources, and sometimes even cited plagiarized versions of the article. And they presented all the false information with total confidence, rarely using qualifying phrases like "it appears," "it's possible," "might," and so on. And almost none of them admitted when they didn't know the answer.
The main way that we've been accessing information for the last couple of decades has been using search, so mainly things like Google. We are now moving into a new paradigm of how we access information. We're moving from search over towards generative AI. This table up here shows one of the major reasons why some people find this transition difficult. There are two types of error when it comes to accessing or finding information. Let's say I'm setting up a new business and I want to work out the market size. So it's a new fidget spinning business and I want to find out how many fidget spinners are sold in the UK each and every year. When we search for information using something like Google, we are used to things like type 2 errors. A type 2 error is a false negative. So this is when we are told there is no answer when there is actually an answer. So in the case of we're trying to look up some market data, Google is unable to find that information. That does not necessarily mean that that information does not exist. We don't assume that it doesn't exist. What's happening with generative AI though is this type 1 error, the false positive. Generative AIs, especially popular ones like ChatGPT, will often just make up information in order to be agreeable and to help us out. Google won't do this because if the information doesn't exist, Google cannot serve that information to you. Whereas generative AI will always try to make you happy, and if you've asked for a certain piece of information and it doesn't have it, it will tend to make it up.
Here are the top 10 casual comments that women make that are actually negative self-talk. 1, I'm a hot mess. 2, I can't do anything right. 3, oh, I'm so disorganized. 4, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Anyone could do that. 5, oh, I'm such an idiot. 6, I look fat. 7, oh, I'm so lazy. 8, oh, I want to kill myself. 9, I hate looking at myself in the mirror. 10, well, I sucked at that.
That video is an example of how you should never speak to yourself. Negative self-talk can turn a simple doubt into a bigger issue. We all do it, but when is overthinking stuff actually going overboard, and how do we break the cycle?
Negative thinking drops activity in a part of the brain called the cerebellum, which is involved in coordination and thought coordination, processing speed, and by being harsh to yourself, you're actually going to make yourself more confused and you're more likely to make more mistakes.
Mental health experts say fixing the problem starts with being kinder to yourself.
One of my very good friends once said to me, Elise, I don't know anyone who has as bad self-talk as you do. And that was a huge wake-up call for me because I thought everyone talked to themselves the way I talk to myself. And my best friend, a different friend, gave me the homework assignment of congratulating every little thing that I did. Taking a shower in the morning, congratulate myself. Tie my shoes in the morning and go out the door, congratulate myself. Show up to work, congratulate myself. And I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. Everybody does those things. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who does it. It doesn't matter who doesn't do it. Giving yourself those compliments over time will change everything. It will change how you talk to yourself. It will change how you view yourself. It will change how you treat yourself.
Sunny Williams, big smile, big waves.
There we have it, some waves, some thumbs up, and some smiles. We're getting some views of him now as he egresses or exits the spacecraft.
Elation and cheers there from Butch Wilmore.
About a week-long round trip turned into 9 months of stuck in space. NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams launched last June aboard Boeing's Starliner for what was meant to be a short test mission. But when technical issues raised safety concerns, NASA deemed the return trip too risky, so they waited and waited. On Tuesday, Butch and Sunny made it back to Earth in a SpaceX capsule, splashing down safely off the coast of Florida.
And splashdown, Crew 9 back on Earth.
Main release.
Welcome aboard the recovery vessel. Recovery personnel are completing final checks.
And there you have it. The side hatch is open for the first time since September. And there we do see Crew 9, some happy waves, smiles all around back on Earth.
That is none other than Sunny Williams. Big smile, big waves. Elation and cheers there from Butch Wilmore.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.